the channel, we're looking for something new. With the new foundation, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, WWE Mattel Legends, Series 24.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another WWE Mattel Legends unboxing and review. And today, we got the Target exclusive Series 24, Jim the Anvil Neidhart from the new Foundation era. And of course, for all your Target exclusive needs, Target. But for everything else under the sun, wrestling related, ringside collectibles, use discount code Kyle, save yourself 10%. Gotta get a deal out there. And of course, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, no stranger to action figures, going all the way back to the LJN days. And we even got this version, a little bit more dumbed down than this, of course, as part of the Hasbro days. Would have been great to get a Jim Neidhart in Hart Foundation colors way back when. Had to wait, I guess, for Mattel to finally do it. A little too much too late by the time that came around. But man, as a kid, this version I had to use in my Hasbro. I had him with the Bulldog. I had him, of course, with Bret Hitman Hart. Even though he didn't match, that was the way it went. But I am very excited about this figure here, as you can say what you want about Jim Neidhart. Obviously, kind of second fiddle to Bret Hart, let's be honest. But definitely a respectable big man. Always pretty good action figures over the years. But this one could be a peg warmer, and I think Mattel helped it out a little bit to sell a few more of these, as making this a 2-in-1. I know I bought 2 of these immediately for this, because you can also have his very short-lived, very forgotten gimmick as Who. Yes, Who. Who are you? Like a young Roger Daltrey, really a young John Entwistle, the greatest bass guitarist of all time. Shout out to John Entwistle. Shout out to John Entwistle's solo career. Underrated. You better check it out. He even did an album with Glenn Tipton from Judas Priest. Check that out too while you're at it. But very, very underrated time frame for Jim Neidhart. Well, I don't know if you could say Who was underrated. But very cool here. And of course, we remember the new Foundation, his tag team with Owen Hart. I've had a custom idea since the get-go on this one. We'll show that later on in this video. We're going to finally be riding in style with the new Foundation, so stay tuned for that. So a lot of uses for this, because you take off the outfit here and you use Who, you put that rest of that stuff on Owen Hart. Ooh, chef's kiss. Like I said, more to come on that soon. But first, we got to do this review like we do all this other reviews on here on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see where it goes from there. We got the Legend style packaging. We know it. We love it by this point. 8 and up, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, WWE Legends logo, Elite logo over there. Jim looking awfully fierce there. None of that kind of smiling and happy. He's pretty fierce there with the shades on. Same thing on the other side. On the back, we got some jibber jabber down low. We got the tail of the tape. We got the blurb. We got the glamour shot. And of course, we got the cross sell. We're unboxing every single one of these on the channel. Then at the very end, we're going to take a look at the Chase edition of Farouk, and we'll rank the entire way from my least favorite to my favorite. So stay tuned for that as well. But let's read and see what it says about Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Titles: World Tag Team Champion. The Hart Foundation disbanded after their World Tag Team Championship loss at WrestleMania 7. Bret Hitman Hart began his singles run for the WWE Championship. His partner, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, was left figuring out his next move. And it was a very strange time, because usually tag teams break up. This time they just kind of went their separate ways. They weren't enemies or anything, so it felt strange to little Kyle at the time. But his partner, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, was left figuring out his next move. He formed a tag team called the New Foundation with Who. No, not that Who. Of course, his brother Owen Hart of Bret Hart. Soon after, the Anvil had to discover a new identity, but who could he be? Oh, the age-old question. Age-old question for the big man, Jim Neidhart. The old Rhino, as he's known in some circles, but looking good right there. See you later. Goodbye, plastic prison. We gotta free Jim Neidhart. Free him. Free him from this plastic prison. And we're gonna get him out. Of course, Jim Neidhart passed away many years ago, but an unforgettable talent. He wasn't a big single star. Like I said, always kind of the second fiddle, always a big man there, but everybody knew Jim the Anvil Neidhart. I'm sure I could ask anybody that knows wrestling right now. They know exactly the laugh of Jim the Anvil Neidhart. One of the most iconic laughs I'd really put him right up there with Ted DiBiase. Both of them had pretty good laughs from back in the day, of course, in all their promos. And there we go, getting it out. See you later. Goodbye. All right, let's get down to business here. We get 2 gripping hands over here, 2 fists of fury out of the package for that. And I guess let's dive into the who first. Who? Yeah, it's Keith Moon. That's who we're talking about this time here. Or are we talking about Pete Townsend? You never know. Let's list all the members. Maybe Zach Starkey. Oh, deep cut. But we get the who head right here. Yellow masked man head. And I would say a majority of people, if you handed them this head, they'd say, who is that? And I'd say, man, you're exactly right. You know your wrestling history. We got the who head right there. I already got a Jim Neidhart out of the package. Already turned him into who right here. So we're ready to go with the who. Very, very fun. Very cool. Would not sell on its own by any means, but as a 2-in-1 figure, just a beautiful, beautiful idea here with the who. And I guess we'll go over the body on this one and the articulation, then we'll dive into Jim Neidhart too. But the head sculpt here looks like a luchador type head on the mask. I should say mask sculpt. But you got the yellow and red attack. Maybe a friend of Hulk Hogan. You never know what he's up to. We do get 2 black elbow pads going on over here. Got the white wrist tape. Talked about the Fist of Fury. Yellow trunks for the who here. Does got chest hair over there. So that does look really good. On brand for Jim Neidhart. And it feels weird seeing Jim Neidhart not in a singlet too. A lot of the times he wore a singlet, especially in the Hart Foundation days. But he was moving away from that in the new foundation in here. So no more singlets for me, guys. But very cool chest hair. Would have been nice. Mattel, let's get that real fur chest hair. Would have been a perfect time to do it right here. Not in the cards there, of course. But then we do get down to the boots here. And now a lot of people griping, and people were griping at San Diego Comic-Con as well, because you don't have the straight up yellow boots. I wish they would have made this like a chase one. I don't know how you would do that. You would have had to make this the chase instead of Farouk. And some people might have said, hey, I would have been okay with that. But it would have been nice to have just straight yellow boots here. Maybe there's a Hulk Hogan figure you could switch from if it really gets in on you, if you really can't take it. Maybe you could even get like a basic Hogan to make it a little bit cheaper. I don't know. A lot of people are buying extra Hulk Hogan figures too, but I'm not sure the yellows would match either. I guess that's another thing. But it is disappointing. It's not the end of the world for me. I don't get too worked up about that stuff, but I know there's a lot of collectors out there that love to do fix-ups and things like that, make them extremely accurate. I'm just not that deep into the weeds, and it's each your own. It's your collection. You got to do what you want to do, of course. But this does bug a lot of people, and I understand why it would. So you do have to contend with that if you're making a Who figure. But I think a lot of us are making a Who figure there. It's just quirky enough to be different, for sure. Articulation on this one, the arms do go all the way around, bicep cut, double jointed, pinless elbows, hands removable back and forth side to side, head removable back and forth side to side as well. And pop that back on. Ab crunch, waist articulation, big old splits if you do need them. Leg goes up, no bounce back, no Mattel bounce back there. Thigh cut, double jointed pin knees, boot cut, pinless knees, boot cut, ankles back and forth side to side, up and down. The usual articulation for who? Yes, who. You heard me right. A who. There it is. Ready to go. Ready to rock and roll. Ready to strut and stroll in his who persona. But the main eventer over here, I guess depending who you ask, is Jim the Anvil Neidhart in his classic, it's hammer time, checkered stuff. I'm going to be a taxi driver part-time, getting after it right there. But very cool soft goods throughout on this Jim Neidhart. And I guess we'll start at the head here. I do believe the head sculpt here is repurposed from the Coliseum Collection Ultimates. It could be an old Hart Foundation figure as well. I guess he had this head a few different times, even back to the Battle Pack days. But this is the last time I think we saw the head was in the Coliseum Collection. He does got this headband over the top. I remember him wearing kind of a hat, like a beret type hat. Am I imagining that? Or maybe he went both ways. I don't know. Did Jim go both ways? Somebody let me know in the comments. But he's got the checkered kind of do-rag here, or bandana, I guess we'll call it. Looking interesting, on brand, I guess. And then you do get the glasses here for Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Black glasses, always wearing glasses all the way back to the Hart Foundation days as well. A little wild in the head sculpt, but you know it's Jim the Anvil Neidhart. He almost looks like he's missing his teeth too, but you see a little bit of white going on there, and a big old tongue, big old expressive face there, and of course you do got the goatee. He was always doing that with the goatee. Never forget that, of course. Short Neidhart hair there in red. Articulation, we walked through it with the Who. Going to be the same thing, same figure as we know. But the soft goods really taking this one to another level. You got the Velcro, of course, on the pants and the coat here, the jacket. You got the checkerboard here like a young Rick Nielsen, a cheap trick. Shout out to my boy Rick Nielsen. but looking good with the yellow and the checkered. Definitely on brand, definitely screams early 90s. It definitely does. This is what I think of. I feel like he should be hanging with Mr. Cooper on TGIF is what it feels like right here. He's got the hammer pants, and as we always say, please hammer, don't hurt him. He's got the blue hammer pants going on here. You got a little yellow on there. I like that they're kind of bungee at the bottom here, so they go up right to the boots here. They're not super long pants. That is very authentic for the time. And of course, the checkered boots on this one does match this figure a heck of a lot better than the Who persona, as we do know. But looking good here, and this is one of those ones I never thought we would really get, and I'm glad they did. I love it that we get deep cuts like this in the Legends line. Very, very fun to get things like this. After all these years, it's been a long time since we've got a non-Hart Foundation Jim the Anvil Neidhart, going all the way back to the Hasbro days, of course. But he does fit on a Mattel ringside collectible stand, just like the Who does. Makes a lot of sense. But I did mention earlier Owen Hart, and of course he's getting figures from Jazzwares, as we do know. And the minute I saw this, I knew I was planning on doing this, and I'm very excited how easy this worked. I'm not a customs guy, you guys know that, but an easy custom like this, very, very easy to do. You just grab an Owen Hart figure, you take the soft goods from the Who version, you're going to display the Who, you take the soft goods version, throw them on this Owen Hart, throw the bandana on Owen Hart, and wham bam, thank you ma'am, you got the new foundation right here. Now, this is not entirely accurate. There's a lot of pictures. They didn't wear matching gear, but I could put it to the side right here. You know, he should have some green in him or something like that. But this definitely works very, very cool, and it feels like I'm getting a Mattel Owen Hart without that because he's covered up everywhere. It's covering up the Jazzwares look to the figure. Not that there's really anything wrong with a Jazzwares figure outside of those pinless joints, or those pin joints, I should say. It looks really good. It covers it up, and it feels like a Mattel figure next to this. So that feels like it works really good. Display well together. Just a very, very easy custom mashup here. Definitely worth doing if you got an extra Owen Hart laying around, or you got some Owen Hart parts. Heck, Owen Hart figure even came with extra heads. If you can find a body that works, maybe you could stick that head on there. It's all going to be covered up anyways. So there's a lot of avenues you could go to feel like you're getting a 3-in-1 figure is almost what it feels like for me right here. But I really do like this. Like again, I said it earlier, not 100% accurate, but I'm going to say it's close enough to be dangerous for me. I'm going to take it right there. And I love the idea of the Who. Definitely a perfect way to get this here. So really kudos to Mattel for making the most out of what this figure can be. Just very, very fun, and I think fits well in the Legends line. Would love to see more of this in the future. Some 2-in-1 figures. Makes people like me buy multiples. I think that's a smart business move on Mattel. We'll see where it goes in the future here. But a slam dunk Jim Neidhart from the new Foundation solo career days as the Who. But what's your thoughts on this one? You picking up 2 of these? That's what I'm interested in. Are you picking up 2? I can see some people saying, I'm waiting for that $6 clearance, then I'll get a second one. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, of course. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, turn on the old notification bell. We got videos every single day, and then some. We got even more content for you, of course, over on Patreon. Patreon, the best way to support this YouTube channel, and all the content it does bring. Plenty of stuff to keep you busy over there every single day. I do appreciate the support. ProWrestlingTees.com, search Kyle Peterson. My book, The Complete Guide to the WWE Jakks Class Superstar Series, now available on Kindle and, of course, soft hardcover over on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Don't forget to hit me up on social media, SirPaul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, and on Instagram. So for a little new Foundation and the Who, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.